Welcome to another episode of Time Out with Mamata. This is Mamata Tharima. I'm hosting this episode with Sasha Yudin, who is a published author of lively art poem series and creative writing and dance instructor. With us, our special guest is pamelamartin, who is the founder and an executive director of Expressive Path, a nonprofit organization based in Norristown, Pennsylvania. Please join us to welcome Ms. Martin.
Hi.
Hello, Ms. Pamela. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. And it's so nice to see both of you.
Yes. Thanks for making time to come here.
Of course.
A beautiful Saturday. So, I feel like we should have pumpkin spice. Because yes.
It is a nice time of year.
Yeah. So, tell us, how do you feel with the title, as I said in the intro? How do you feel with the title of being the executive director, the founder of an organization? How does that make you feel and all the responsibilities that come with it?
So it makes me feel really proud. It's been a really long journey, and I didn't get here alone. I had a lot of support from my family, from friends. I have an amazing team behind me to make Expressive Path go every day. So I feel proud of myself, but really proud to have the team with me.
Oh, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean, we have been working with you for a few years now, but if you would like to share with us, when have you started that? Like, how did that all come together when you started?
Yeah, so I worked at Montgomery County for years. I worked in child welfare for 20 years. I worked in, I worked in child welfare for 16 years, 4 years in senior welfare. And during my time in child welfare, I really saw that teens always got the short end of the stick. It would be Christmas time and kids would be in foster care, and the teens, there wouldn't be things for them. There'd be tons of presents for toddlers and youth, but teens would just get the short end. And so I also saw that there wasn't enough art activities, that in many communities you see that there's so many athletic opportunities, but when you go to look for arts, music, etc., you just don't see it. So combining all of that, I thought something needs to be out there. So what I did was I combined all my great loves, love of working with teens, love of art. I'm a photographer.
How about that?
Yeah, and events. I love events. I love putting together things and hosting them. It's so much fun. I really got that from my mother. Wow. So what I did was I combined all my great loves, and it became Expressive Path. And I went to my mother and father and said, "What do you think about this idea?" And my mom was really ill at the time, and she said, "If anybody can do it, you can," and was incredibly supportive. And then unfortunately she passed. So what I did was I really threw myself into it. About a year later, my dad passed, and and so I just threw myself into it more, and I saw things start to come together, and I thought, I have some angels up there looking after me, and things are really coming together here. Right. So I stayed with the county until it was time for me to retire. So I did both simultaneously. So I did 2 full-time jobs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So you were beginning the Expressive Path nonprofit and still working at the Montgomery County.
Yeah, I was for.
Wow. Well, that's the good way to start, though. You don't want to quit, end with something and then you start.
Right.
You want to start your next goal.
Exactly.
While you are wrapping up with what you have.
I wanted to make sure it got legs first.
Right.
And when I started to see things take off, I thought, let me just go to retirement, first year of retirement at the county, and then go from there. And that's what I did. So I took a risk after that and, start Expressive Path.
Now, can you just tell our audience a little more about what Expressive Path is and what's the mission of that?
Yes. So Expressive Path is a creative arts organization. It's a nonprofit for disadvantaged teens 12 to 19. And it gives them an opportunity to create, learn, and grow through the arts. We have opportunities for scholarships, internships, workshops, community service opportunities, and more.
Well, before I go to Sasha, I'm very curious. I love the name you came up with, Expressive Path. Was it your idea or something came from your mom, dad?
Yeah.
So
you get to express yourself. I
Yes.
feel like this is come here and express yourself, and we have a path for you. but you gotta express yourself,
Right.
right? That's
So,
how I see it.
so this is what happened. So while I was still with the county, I had a lot of ideas. This was one of them, and it was on a list. And I did polls. I
Okay.
sent it to all my coworkers, and they picked what their favorite name
that's
was.
nice.
And then what I did was with the color. Our color is purple. That represents Expressive Path. We did polls with the teens. And we did between blue and purple, and it was a majority picked purple, and they loved it.
I love how like the early branding aspect of it was involved with coworkers, with the disadvantaged teens. It's beautiful, very unique. Now you worked with seniors and you worked with disadvantaged teens, and you just talked about how you really saw a gap with teenagers. Was there also a certain experience or a heat of calling that you personally felt that told you, I want to really focus on disadvantaged adolescents for the rest of my days? This organization really should serve them. Was it like a heat of calling, or like why?
I think part of it was what I talked about earlier, the need, but also the knack. I feel like I just click with teens. I always have. So when I was at the county, when cases would come in where families had, need, if there was teenagers in the family, they would always say, Pamela, how about you work with this family? When I got a degree in counseling, they said, what groups do you want to work with? I said teens, and then I got all the teens. Because a lot of people don't want to work with teens,
a lot of people say the other way.
Yes.
It's hard to work with teenagers.
Right. So I ended up with everybody else's teens working with them. But I connect with them well. I think they are so bright and they see the world differently, and they're so excited about things, and I think they want to be heard, you know, and people often do not take the time to give them a voice, and that's one thing Expressive Path really does, is gives our students a voice. So a lot of the projects, a lot of the programming is student-led. We want to hear from them because we care about them.
Right, because sometimes, like mostly for boys, we see that default they play basketball,
Right?
right? But they're also good at other things that sometimes it's just the age, they can't express it at that early age.
Right.
They pick up on passions later, but they always had that somewhere hidden within them. So I think you are their medium to like speak your heart out. Tell me what you want to do, right? We have dance, music, theater,
opportunity,
visual arts, and all that kind of
Right, and I think sometimes, we go to a lot of schools, and we go to nonprofits and rec centers, et cetera, to teach. We teach at Montgomery County Youth Center, which is shelter and detention. And Sasha, who's very well known as Mr. U by our students,
Mr. U.
He's taught there numerous times, dance and so forth, and he's had students come in and say, I don't want to do dance. There's nothing for me here. And he's been able to help them connect it with sports and, bonding with their families, and been so successful at it. So sometimes we don't know what we're good at until we have the opportunity to have that chance.
And it's so amazing how you just mentioned that glimpse, because speaking personally, as Pamela mentioned, when you go and you instruct dance, you have an intention, but instead, sometimes students just want someone to talk to, someone to listen to the struggles, to see how they're doing the day. And that is really the heart of just expressing. It doesn't have to always be art. It can just be closure, it can be comfort. And I think that's really powerful that you mentioned that.
Yeah, and I think they've really picked that up with you, because when you come into a classroom, they always yell, Mr. U, like they're really glad to see you. So you've made those connections, and same with you.
Yeah, I had some experience there, mostly teaching boys, kids just sitting in the back, have never sang in person. I mean, in front of people. There's, we say bathroom singer. But they were so shy. But it's like an ice-breaking kind of thing, right? You talk to them, you make them feel comfortable, you assure them that they won't be judged.
Right.
Here,
so
Expressive
important.
Path, talent is not being judged. It's not on scale.
Right. So true.
When they get that assurance, I had that personal experience many times with kids. They were so shy. They were fearful. Maybe something happened in the past. It could be anything. And that same kid came in front, not just came in front, also said, "Can I have the mic?
Yeah.
And can you turn the volume up of the karaoke machine?
Yeah.
And can I sing alone?" "Oh yeah, sure. But first, everybody don't look at me." And then the second
That's
time,
right.
That's
that
funny.
the kid didn't care if anybody looking, anybody has the phone on up. They didn't care.
Yeah.
The
So
support.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing to see. We had a jazz night the other night.
Yeah.
We have a new center in Cherry Street, and we're doing more and more open mics and opportunities for intergenerational community activities. And we're opening them to the public, and we had a jazz night, and we had students get up and sing a variety of songs, but one sang "My Way," somebody that would never have gotten up originally when we first met her.
Wow.
Barely said a peep in our classrooms, and now got up and sang "My Way." It was brilliant. She was great.
Awesome. So now it's at the Cherry Street in Norristown. Are you planning to make it a little bigger? Are you just planning to target Montgomery County area?
No, we're definitely expanding.
Okay.
We're still mobile. So we do mobile work, and we're doing a lot in Norristown, but we're also moving to Pottstown to do work there. And then great thing about having a brick or mortar is that people can come to us now. As you saw, we have our camp there now, and we're going to be doing community creators there, which is a Friday night social group, as you know.
Yes.
And it just gives us opportunity to expand our geographical footprint.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's very important, mostly for nonprofits. Oh yeah.
Yeah, accessibility is huge.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you said accessibility, because that's why we picked this location. Our students can now walk or ride their bikes to us. So as you probably noticed, because you taught at our camp this past year, that it was much bigger.
Yes.
We went from 10 students to 20, sometimes 30.
Yes.
So now they can get there, which is cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Pamela, what are the challenges running a nonprofit?
There are several. Running a nonprofit isn't easy. One of the biggest challenges, as you might expect, is funding. So, we do apply for grants and, ask for community support, etc. Another is having enough staff to, meet the needs for the organization, getting volunteers. So, yeah, there's quite a few.
Yeah, a lot of volunteers make up, the mentors, right?
Yeah, we have a great team, right? A great team.
EP family.
EP
Hashtag EP family.
It is. I feel like everybody gets along really well, and they bring out the best in each other. And a lot of our teachers find other teachers, is what happened with the two of you, correct?
Yes. It's like you connect the dots. Like, one person at a coffee shop, and then like, "Do you know Miss Pamela?" Very good. That's how I'm telling my story, right? And he used to work at that Tim Shell one, and then he said, "Mamata, you should really reach out to this wonderful lady." And then from there, I connected with you, and then I also tell other people, say, "Hey, if you want to teach something."
Yeah.
It's if you're in the Montgomery
appreciate
area.
that.
So yeah, and again,
You've been around for a while too. You've stuck around for a while. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And
because we love it. We love that. And mostly, I know sometimes you feel like, am I gonna do it for long? But the thing is, every time I go to a class, it's like, I should continue, because the happiness and joy I see in teenagers, and if you have a great class. And
it makes you feel good, right?
That's the feeling I think only teachers can understand. When you have a successful class and the teacher says like, thank you for your time and thanks for really helping me to let it out. And you are the medium, my teacher. That feeling is like, I gotta come back again.
Oh, good. I hope it keeps happening forever. Yeah.
What it is? It's a rebirthing of testament, self-testament. I started, for those who are not familiar, the wonderful name that teachers are given by Pamela is mentors. And it's such a powerful name, it's such a powerful acronym, because we get the opportunity to go to facilities. We go to the Montgomery County Youth Center, and talking about that personal location, when I went there, teaching dance to students who may have never seen any sort of dance, and these are disadvantaged teens and detention center and shelter homes, and just bringing the joy of moving the body, expressing, telling the story, and then evolving to instructing summer camp at your new location on Cherry Street. And then we have the community creators. So that's why the name Mentors, it's an incentive to stick with this, as Mamata mentioned, just the joy you see. And it's very, what I enjoy about it, you can balance around any sort of kind of full-time job, part-time job, any other commitments, you can still do this.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that you're saying that, because yes, we could always welcome new teachers, and there's just so many ways to help. Like every time I talk to somebody, there's something that they can do to help. Maybe they have a violin collecting dust in their attic.
Yeah.
Maybe they have time to volunteer. Maybe they are a retired teacher, just always wanted to teach and just have the aptitude and interest in working with teens. There's just so many ways that people can help. And our teachers, so many of them are multi-talented, like you both, for example. I mean, you do voice, but you also do guitar.
The first vocal teacher.
And the music production.
And dancing and theater with you, and screen writing as well.
Playwriting.
So I like to really give our teachers the opportunity to experiment with all their interests. And the students can learn from that too. Like there's so many other things that you can learn. Many of our students are repetitive, meaning that they attend more than one workshop because they want to attend your next class or your next class and learn something new.
Yeah, speaking of students, so if students are interested to, who are not familiar with Expressive Path but heard that and very interested, how can they get involved to receive this wonderful service?
Great question. So our students come to us in many ways. Self-referral, they can just contact us on our website or phone number. A lot of students like to text. They can text us, 610-331-3516.
Awesome.
Call or text. They can tell their teachers at school that they're interested.
That's nice.
And a lot of our referrals come from the local schools. They come from our community partners. We do a lot of collaborative work. We believe that's a catalyst for our growth. So we have nonprofits recommending their students, and they send referrals to us as well. So, yeah.
So I also would like to know, since you have been in this nonprofit business for quite some time, what were the struggles that you faced at the beginning stage, and what are some now that you're facing?
Well, some I talked about just being able to have enough funding and just have a large enough team. But one of the challenges that we faced early on was just having a place to do our work. We were in two different spaces. We were at Center Theater, as you probably remember, but we were also at Montgomery. It was one of our partners. And that was hard because it would be like, where's the trombone? Well, it's at the other place. Or where's this document? Well, it's at the other place. And so that was a real struggle. So early on, just being able to get to the point where we had enough funding to have everything in one space. So we are so grateful now to be able to do that. But, we can see that we're growing more, and we're going to outgrow this space, knock on wood. I'm going to knock on wood. And so, that's, it's a continued challenge, just growing and finding the next steps and getting the support to do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You have long-term goals you want to share, do you have a new direction that you want to take now that you're established and you talk about growth and expanding? Do you already have a framework or a vision of how to get there? What that looks like?
I have a vision of what I want to see the center become. I really want it to be a community center, intergenerational, where all ages are bonding, grandparents and their kids and the neighbors.
All ages.
All ages. I want to see the public come to these various open mics. Like I said, we just had a jazz night. We're going to be having an open karaoke night, and we just want to make it fun for the community, a safe place for them to learn and grow together. As you know, Friday nights we do a program called Community Creators, which is a social group for teens, and it's been in Audubon, but we would like to move that to our center. We have a little mini garden in the back that we call the Expressive Path Green Garden.
Okay.
Green Garden. And it's not that big of a space, but when we first moved into our place, it was all trash. It was mattresses and junk, and the kind folks at Habitat for Humanity came in and they took away 8 huge truckloads of trash, mattresses, there was just no place to be back there. They took that out. So we had their support. We had support from the Norristown Garden Club. They came and planted flowers. We had support from Colonial Canopy. They came and planted trees. And and now the trash is gone. We have some beauty going around it. We have it kind of all marked off by pots of geraniums. And now we're seeing grills back there. Well, none of these grills are ours. They're all the communities. Like, the community's coming back to that little green space and they're taking pride and ownership of it. And it's really quite nice. So we want to expand that area and do horticulture programming back there and gardening programming. We have an area in the back of our center now that is where all our technology is. So, so we want to do strategic gaming. We're really into STEAM, which is the A in STEM. Okay, so we want to do strategic gaming. We have 3D printers. We're getting a laser engraver. Yeah, and so we want to keep our students on top of new technology, and we're all about, STEAM. And then we have an area where we're going to build a stage, and behind the stage is going to be a gallery that's going to be rotating, and we're going to invite artists in to come and show their work, and then do workshops for our students to say, about career paths and how did they become an artist and what was their journey. And then obviously our students will show there too. So we have the garden area, we have the tech area, and we have the gallery stage area that we're growing on. So these are the visions. We want to see all those things grow.
Well, and it really takes a village. I love how you mentioned just the community partners, their involvement is so important, the Habitat for Humanities, and just the level of involvement of how you have many shared visions in Montgomery County, and how you get to see many nonprofits serving different audiences, but all together really serving one community and working together.
Yeah, we feel really proud to be part of the Norristown family, and there are so many wonderful nonprofits working so hard to make a difference there, and we like to partner with as many as we can. So we really have a goal of rebranding the street to Cherry Street's Arts District. So we'd love to see more artists come into that area.
Oh, wow. I can't wait. Thank you for sharing all your future goals. And fingers crossed, hope all that come true.
What is keeping you still motivated to run Expressive Path, to do what you do?
Well, primarily the students. Just, some of the stories that you shared, just hearing them talk to one another and say things like, I love Expressive Path, I wish more people would come, it's changed my life, and I want them, I want my friends to have that same experience. It's comments like that. It's, seeing them go to college, and choose the arts.
Wow.
It's, seeing or hearing from a parent who says, this social group has really helped my child come out of their shell. They're like a different person. It's that kind of feedback. It's also just working with a team like you all. I'm really proud to work with you, and every day I come into the center and I'm able to look around and reflect on where it was. I do that a lot. It's really important for all of us to do, is to reflect where you came from and where you're at now. Going to that from where we are now and walking into the center and looking around and seeing people helping me every day, it wells me up. It makes me feel so proud. Especially to be a woman entrepreneur and just to be able to get as far as I've been able to do, and I'm just really proud.
This is amazing. So let us know how can we find Expressive Path, share all the social media platforms with us, and if anybody is interested to donate to just help it pushing moving forward, how can we do that? Okay, so we have a website, expressivepath.org. I mentioned the phone number earlier, which is 610-331-3516. You can call or text. We're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, and we're on Facebook.
So we do a little bit of everything. We do our events, a lot of stories, Facebook and Instagram stories, and we do our students' artwork, we do student performances, but we also like to keep up good messages. So if you ever check out our stories, you might say something like, be kind. Because we know a lot of students are looking at our Instagram, and we want to, send them reminders about, how to be to other friends and how to keep themselves feeling good about themselves. We're trying to bring culture to our community too. It's an underserved community, and our community doesn't always have the opportunities that folks do in, say, like Philadelphia, and folks don't always have the transport or the funds to be able to get to Philadelphia to do these cultural events. So that's one of the reasons Art in the Park is such a big deal, because it is a cultural event for an underserved community.
Nice. I think the greatest education of all human being is humanity. And that's something you put on your website. Beyond education, what goes is humanity. That goes till your last moment. And then I think it's very important to, have that installed in young bodies.
Absolutely.
So and that's something I found on your website. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much for coming, spending your time and sharing all these impactful, profound stories with us. And we are really glad to have you. It's an honor. Thank you so much for coming.
I appreciate you both very much.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And thank you all for listening to this podcast. If you like it, please make sure to share and subscribe to my channel. My channel name is Mamata Tharima, MAMATA THARIMA. Thank you so much, and thank you, Pamela.
Thank you. Bye.